sense of like individualism in the Old Testament and New Testament. It's about like the personal journey.
You have to make
almost.
a choice.
A choice, and it's about your individual self.
Yes.
And like in the East, it's like it's very much it's more focused on like the insignificance of the individual.
Yeah.
And, like the self is
the
an
collective.
illusion. It's a collective. But an old philosophy in Judaism is that like they say that shit like we're all one. It's called B'Tselem Elohim. It's like we're all one. God is in everything.
Yeah.
Me, you, we're all. So that idea is in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as much in Christianity. Christianity, to me, from an outsider looking in.
Yeah. It's not emphasized. It is there. Obviously, most churches would never teach that anything in the Old Testament was like incorrect, but they just don't emphasize lots.
They don't touch on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's really.
It's kind of Each denomination has their favorite things to talk about.
Their focus.
Yeah, their focus.
Their audience. I mean, you can't teach the Old Testament to everybody.
Yeah.
It's hard stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's not made for everybody. That's like kind of, you have to find your congregation, I guess, and teach them, you gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyways, that's good stuff. I find religion fascinating.
Yeah, I had no idea we were going to talk about this.
No, I
This
didn't
is cool.
see it. Religion's dope. I have my friend who's a black man from Chicago, and he's a professor at Morehouse. He's very religious. He's very religious, and it was just like when we were good friends. We are still good friends, but when we lived in the same place and stuff, it was like very cool.
Where's Morehouse? Is that upstate?
That's Atlanta.
Oh, fuck.
No, it's alright. It's a small college.
Morehouse.
Yeah. Anyways, it's
I wonder why I thought it was upstate.
Yeah.
Just
upstate New. Well, the small liberal arts colleges sound
There are
like
a lot
that.
of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. But anyways, he did it was cool to listen to him talk about his relationship with religion and like black church and like all this stuff, and it was like it's just nice to see how other people do it. Everybody does it differently.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're Jewish.
I'm Jewish. But not like but the thing
were you practicing as a kid?
Same kind of thing with you is that I went to Hebrew school, and I had a bar mitzvah, and I went to Jewish summer camp forever. Mm-hmm. Forever.
That's a big thing. I feel like that's even bigger than Christian summer camp.
Oh my God. I went from like 8 years old and then was like working at the camp from like 18 to 20, and then like went back before I went to law school. Like it's like I love Jewish summer camp. I think there's like a lot of people who are in the arts were given spirituality at a young age. I think it's like there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have been like connected to that creativity at a young age.
I don't know. Maybe it makes life seem more inspiring.
Yeah, there's a more magical element to it.
There's sort of a gratitude to living that if you're not religious, you might not have.
Yeah, they teach you that shit.
You're supposed to be grateful to be alive.
Look how beautiful it is.
Yeah, which is nice. I think that's probably one of the better things about it.
Hell yeah.
It's probably the best thing.
Hell yeah.
Because if you're not living like that, like, fuck.
You don't have that open mind.
It sucks.
It
sucks if you just like wake up and you're like,
this fucking sucks. Yeah, New York can kind of turn you into that.
Yeah.
It can kind of turn you into that. And growing old can turn you into that shit.
Yeah.
Like, thinking about dying.
Are you from New York?
No, I'm from California.
California. What part of California?
Northern California.
Northern California.
Like, I grew up right outside of San Francisco in a really white suburb.
Where, like Stockton or something?
No, but I know where Stockton is. But Stockton's a rough place.
Yeah.
I grew up in this place called Marin County, which is like a gorgeous place. Like tons of trees, Mount Tam. But my high school, I always went to public school. And my high school was very diverse because they bussed in everybody.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience for me. Because I got to be around people who weren't like upper class privileged whites.
Was there like a big Jewish community where you were?
No, and I didn't realize that until much later in my life.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like kind of normal that I was one of the 4 kids in my grade. And then I was like, and people were kind of mean to me growing up.
Yeah.
And I was with Jewish people, and like Jews weren't mean to me.
Yeah.
And then I like just put it together in my 20s. I was like, oh, these people were being anti-Semitic because I was just acting like a Jew.
Yeah.
Like, and they were, and I was taking their attacks personally.
Yeah.
Like it was a personality thing. And then when I'm around other Jewish people or literally any other culture, people fucked with me. Like, they liked me. But then these white people didn't like me. And I was like, oh, it took me a long time to realize. I was like, oh, anti-Semitism didn't stop when the Holocaust was over.
Yeah.
See, that's what I thought in my dumb little
Well, I
head.
think also as a kid, speaking like, so I've come from a hugely Christian area. We had like 1 or 2 Jewish kids in my school.
Right.
And they would, of course, they were getting shit on a lot.
Yeah.
But it was about more like it wasn't because they were Jewish. It was because they were an easy target.
Right.
They're doing something different and odd, and like,
They're
oh,
being
our
odd.
religion's correct. We're all kids, and we're all, you're not thinking with any nuance. You're like, well, you're doing that weird thing still.
Well, we are odd. I mean, it is odd in just the sense that it's such a small population. I mean, it was like 0.02% of the world's population, and we do things like a very specific way. But I have a good friend who's like, he's Orthodox. He's not Hasidic. He's Orthodox, and he's like the 7th son of a rabbi in like Sheepshead Bay or whatever.
Yeah.
He's my age, and like he's like compared to it's like I'm not doing the rules. Like I'm being Reformed Jewish, which is like wooey spiritual, like learn about it, do the high holidays, like
That's fucking hippie Jews.
Hippie ass Jew shit.
Yeah.
And I don't like make it your own, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like a part of me as I go older, I'm like this isn't it is Jewish, but it's not.
It's like you're faking it a little bit.
Not faking it, but I do wonder. I guess I go back to the values of it, and try to steal from those values, but make it my own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any one way to skin a cat, and I just don't. But I do think there's power in those traditions, but also those traditions really it's just kind of a complex issue. But I don't think I'm getting any less from the life I'm living or the Judaism that I'm doing. But I do think that the guideposts or like the suggestions are probably really helpful.
Did you become more in touch with your Judaism when you came to New York?
I've become more in touch with my Judaism.
What was that like? Just realizing there's like there's several million Jews here. Probably.
Well, I went to undergrad here.
Okay.
And so that was like great. And then just to be around other Jewish people, that was fantastic. And then coming back, it's like, I like doing comedy, but I don't even think like, I guess I just have a little bit of an awareness thing where I don't really like, I'm just vibing kind of, but then recently doing comedy, I've looked up and I'm like, oh my god, there's so many Jews doing comedy. like especially at like the mics where there's Jewish hosts.
Yeah.
Jews just flock to that shit. Like Alana's mic.
Uh-huh.
Jews roll to Alana's mic. Or an Alex Schlar's mic on Mondays. Like there's hella Jews at that mic. And so it's just kind of nice to like, but I need more Jewish friends. I feel like my Jewish friends are all in California and we talk on the phone, but like I need to make some New York Jewish friends.
I'm sure it wouldn't be hard.
Wouldn't be hard.
I think it's got to be, to me, the Jewish comedy thing has got to be because, I don't know if this is true, but it feels like if you grow up Jewish, it's an acceptable thing to become like a stand-up comedian. Like maybe it's because Jews have been centered around New York for so long, but it
doesn't feel acceptable to me. I mean, I don't think any of the any parents want their kids to be comedians or go into show business. I mean, like, I think.
Do you think it's just Jewish culture is conducive
they created
to?
It.
Yeah.
Like it's just. I think Hollywood. I know Hollywood and comedy and the entertainment business was the one business Jews are allowed to get into.
Yeah.
So they created it.
Yeah.
You know, and I also think Jews have been. I think Jews are people of the book, and I think comedy comes from suffering, and the Jewish people have been persecuted forever, and so there's just a combo between being illiterate people, illiterate, not illiterate,
yeah.
like an intellectual, literate people coming from a lot of pain. It's a culture of storytelling, show business. You know, like it's just not. But it's what we were allowed to make. Like everyone bitches about. Like, it's like, okay, you'll hear like rappers be like, you know, the music industry's so fucked up. Like they take these Jews, right? They're taking our money, da da da. And it's like, yo, bro, that's business. If you go to the railroads and like the steel mills or any other industry that's not run by Jews, the business practices of the guy who's putting the money in to fund your career is going to get his money back plus interest because he's giving you a platform. Yeah. That's going to exist everywhere. Yeah. And that's just business, man. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's just business.
Yeah, I've found I have Jewish relatives because my dad's brothers, they both married Jewish women. Yeah. So I have a bunch of Jewish cousins. Yeah. I find when I'm with them, one of them's getting married Saturday.
Nice.
But
are you going?
I don't know if I'm going to go to the ceremony, but I'm going to go to the after party.
Here?
Because the ceremony, they're just doing a little tiny ceremony.
Is it here?
Yeah, it's in Manhattan. Well,
it's tired.
Yeah, it's in Manhattan. But they're always doing stand-up among themselves.
Right.
I find that when I hang out with them, everyone's just doing stand-up at each other. Everyone's doing bits constantly, constant bits. And I'm like when I hang out with my mom's family, a bunch of Cajun people, like they do tell funny stories and there are funny people. Everyone's funny.
Yeah.
But they're not doing bits. They're just like telling real life stories that are funny. And then maybe the Jewish relatives are like bits.
That's so New York though.
Yeah.
Are they New York Jews?
Jersey.
Jersey. Yeah.
I guess Jersey, New York, whatever.
That's an East Coast shit.
Yeah,
but that's true. When I'm hanging out with see, my mom. Yeah, all my relatives are everyone's funny, but like the West Coast thing is a little bit more laid back.
Yeah.
But my mom's family was all shtick. But they weren't doing like bits. It was like
were they from the West Coast originally?
Yeah, from the West Coast. Okay. It's performative. I think East Coast is where East Coast stand up is like an East Coast thing, right? It's like it's like New York City and like Boston and I know a Jewish girl who's from Boston who's like when she talks in bit and she's amazing. Yeah. Like she just talks in bit. I was like you should just go on stage and write that. She's now dating a comedian and it's like I haven't heard his comedy but I can't imagine.
You're like there's no way he's funnier.
There's no way.
Yeah. See the southern comedians is all very story based. Right. Storytelling.
Yeah.
Long can be long tales. People wait. They don't. In New York, it's like everyone expects something funny every other sentence. In the South, it's like
you can chill.
He's just going to tell you about his weekend, and then it might be really, really funny at the end.
It might be really.
But like along the way, you know, you're like, oh. Or sometimes it's like the vibe of the comedian's funny, but he's not saying anything funny.
Not saying a single thing. You get away with that almost everywhere else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, New York,
you can't.
Cannot.
Why is that? Because people are smart here.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think people maybe know comedy better. Maybe they've watched more comedy. They're impatient. They want the funny thing.
Yeah, what? Give me this.
It seems like folksy to wander around and talk about your
bullshit.
Your coon hunting trip.
Unless you're ranting. I feel like if you have a lot of... Well, I think every comedian's different. And that's why it's so awesome. Because everyone has their own style, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel like if you're just going to go on stage and bullshit and like not really do material, I think you should be really angry about something.
Yeah, you have to be driven. Like, you're like, I'm going to... Yeah, because then people can feel the passion. That's fun.
That's fun. And then you'll stumble on funny-ass shit because you're ranting. and like that's good. But in New York, other than that, if you're going up and just trying to chill and at an open mic, there's nothing. There's no one. The audience isn't giving you shit at an open mic.
Yeah.
Even at a show, people don't want you to. They want you to tell jokes here. You gotta fucking tell some jokes. Like your written ass jokes with like.
And as soon as the jokes are over, you can feel them waiting for the next joke.
I know.
The tension. The
They're
tension
brutal.
builds.
Oh, they're brutal. They're brutal.
What's your worst stand-up experience in New York with a crowd?
Oh, dude. Oh. This was so bad.
Okay.
This was so bad. This was a while. This might have been like a year ago.
Okay.
This was really bad. But like I hadn't done stand-up in a while, and I went on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a show right when I was coming back. And I like came up with like this new idea that I really wanted to try, and so I did like a new idea at like kind of like a rough show in Queens.
Was it like the first you opened with the new idea?
Basically.
Yeah, you know,
And
I do
just-
that all the time where I'm like,
got
oh, but this is
crashed.
gonna be great.
Yeah. I just got. It was such a bad bomb. I was humiliated, and like you walk past all the other comics who are looking at you, and they're all like, "You fucking suck."
No fist bumps.
Yeah, they can't even like it would. Yeah, no fist bumps.
You can't fist bump someone after they bomb.
You can't. Do you fist bump someone if you don't like their? You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that. But one thing I don't like.
I don't give out fist bumps.
Yeah.
I don't give them out.
You keep it tight.
I don't bump people just to bump them.
No.
I only fist bump people if I really enjoy their set.
That's how I feel too.
Or something fun happened I enjoyed.
Right.
Maybe I didn't enjoy their set, but like maybe something crazy happened.
Right. You like
and
that.
I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
good on you for holding yourself together up there. Or something.
Right. Oh, it's a sympathy bump.
Yeah, I can give out a sympathy bump. But I'm not just going to give out a bump if I didn't like the comedy.
All right, let's talk about this. One thing I don't like in the stand-up world is when people fake laugh at open mics. I'm like, that needs to end. That's like some weird-ass shit. Because it like...
Do you think people fake laugh a lot? I haven't tuned into it, really.
I think there's fake laughers out there. And it's like... It's good for them because it makes the person feel like they're liked by them and like helps them in the politics of the open mic world, open mic alternative show world. It's like, that's gonna help you get on a show, maybe. But I think ultimately it's about if the booker really thinks you're funny, like they think you can do it. Like, can you do it? Can you go up there and do 10 minutes and like hold it together?
Yeah, I like to be loose with my laughs. I don't want to be someone who's hard to make laugh.
Yeah.
I don't fake it. I would say I'm easily amused.
You sit up in the front, and that impresses me. Like you'll sit in the front of your open mic and like take it in.
I enjoy
You like it.
I'm also learning at the open mic.
Yeah, you are.
That's my favorite thing about the open mic, is I'm like, I treat it a little bit like a class, for myself.
How do you learn?
I don't understand not watching the open mic.
You have to watch it.
Yeah.
You have to sit and watch it.
But I enjoy the comedy enough to where like I can enjoy an open mic. Like I'm always ready for a good show. Then sometimes I can be immediately turned off by a show. There's certain types of comedy where I'm not going to entertain enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Open mic comedy is most of the stuff you watch is just brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not indicative on the comedians necessarily, just like someone working out a half-baked idea.
Yeah.
It's just gonna suck.
Yeah.
But like but the people who are figuring it out, I like that. I like to see someone figure it out, like, and see them get better, and then that's exciting. Because I do think you can figure parts of this shit out.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
You can do it. Like, it's hard. And it takes forever. But, like, we've all gotten better. I mean, as long as I've known you, I've seen you get better. And, like, I've seen everyone we all do it with get better.
Yeah.
We've all gotten better. The mics are getting... The same people are going to these mics. And the mics are getting better because everybody's been practicing. Like, you just...
I have the Halyards mic as I feel like the quality of the people who you can see, you can watch.
It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Because it's like the same class.
Yeah, it's funny how it's become like a club.
It's a club.
The Alana Club.
The Alana Club. She gives it a great vibe.
Yeah.
How do you deal with comedians that you don't like? Like comedians that you hate for some reason. Like you hate their comedy and you don't like who they are.
See, there's comedians I hate their comedy. I really like them as people.
Right, I know.
That's the hardest thing for me to do.
That's the hardest because they want you to book them on your show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're friends with them and you're talking with them and shit.
Yeah.
But you're just like in your heart you're like you're not there yet.
Yeah, it's just maybe you'll never be there. Like I don't even maybe think you should be doing comedy, but I enjoy you. I like you.
I like you as a person. Yeah. But who shouldn't be doing comedy? I mean, like...
That's true. No, I don't think anyone shouldn't be doing comedy if they don't want, but, like, I just... Yeah, I don't like... Now, especially, I just start a show. Like, it is hard to deal with, like, the thought of, like, oh, does this person expect me to put them on the show at some point? Like, I don't know if I can.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if I... Like, if it would hurt you too much on the inside to do it...
Yes.
Then you're just like, I don't know if I can do
but
this.
But comedians I can't stand. I don't talk to.
Yeah, you're pretty good about, and I've told you this before off air, but you're like pretty good about like keeping your shit like contained. Like, you go, like you do your business, you get out of there.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't schmooze around too much.
I choose nights where I'm like, I'll hang around. I'll try and be buddies.
Yeah.
I do that at Halyards. I'm like, usually it's like I'm hanging out here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's my personality. I want to be better about that. It would help me more in comedy.
The introvert. You have an introvert for you.
Yes. It's very easy for me to not talk to you if I don't like your comedy. I'm just like...
Yeah.
Hi.
It's introverts are crazy because I'm an introvert too, and people think we're being mean.
Yeah, no.
And it's just like our system can't handle it.
No, I like people a lot.
Yeah.
I can't impress this enough. I really like people, but like I cannot always talk to you. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Especially at the mics, man. I just wanna.
I remember one time I saw you outside of Halyards.
Yeah.
And I waved you across the street, and you waved, and then you just walked inside, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, you're not waiting for me across the street to like talk, like. And then I was like, "Okay, whatever. That's not a big deal." I was like, "I understand what it is."
Sometimes I need the structure of like we're okay. It's almost too much pressure to like the spontaneous meeting. It's almost like in my head I'm like, well, I'll see him when I'm in the bar and then I'll be ready. Which other people would be like, that's insane. But I'm like, no.
That's who you are.
Yeah.
The comedy I honestly feel like comedy is like one of my one of my greatest spiritual teachers. Like it's like taught me so much about how to like take the attention off of myself. Like I think there's like a self-centeredness that comes with like adolescence and like creativity and adolescence, like right. Mm-hmm. It's like, and it's just like if you're gonna do comedy for years, you're gonna learn how to like be around other people who are like self-centered.
Yeah.
You know, and other people who feel like they have ideas and want like when you're doing stand-up comedy, you're the center of attention.
Yeah.
And everybody in that room wants to be the center of attention. Yeah. And so it teaches you how to like
transcend,
get over yourself.
Yeah.
And like be like, all right, I'm one of these people that wants to be the center of attention. All right, I can take a break from thinking about myself for a little bit. Like I can take a break. You know, and when other comics aren't being nice to you, you learn like, oh, it's not personal.
Yeah.
They're just in their world. And it's like really good. It's like, I mean, it's a very therapeutic medium. It's like helps you like, it helps your relationship to failure, helps your social skills. It's disciplined, teaches you a lot about yourself. It's cool.
Yeah, I think the failing constantly is the best thing about it. Because everything else in life seems a little more...
easy.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
But the hardest part is when you like write 3 new jokes for your 5 minutes or whatever, and you feel so good about it, and you run that shit for like a couple of weeks, showing off your fancy good jokes, whatever, and then after that couple of weeks, you're like, I don't want to tell these three anymore, or like I'm done talking to I'm done saying to these people, and then you have to go back and like say new shit and bomb and like kind of bomb again and like.
Or you have the new bits and they do well for like 3 shows, and then you tell it at one show and it bombs so bad you're like, I don't know if that was ever funny.
Yeah, was it?
What
real?
was it? Was it really funny, or people just saw I was excited to talk about it?
Yeah, they saw your excitement,
yeah,
or your pain. Like if you have a lot of pain related to that subject, that will get you far. And then like, yeah, one of the guys who goes to the mics were with, Jarrett G.
Yeah, of course.
Jarrett G was like, he had me some wisdom. He was like, I was like, we were talking. He was preparing.
He's a guy who's very good about always working his good jokes.
He's disciplined.
He doesn't worry about.
No, he'll do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
yeah.
I envy that a lot.
Yeah, like the guy who's just like, I'm just gonna do my set.
Because you need that. You need to be able to hone the set. I'm almost afraid to hone the set.
Well, okay. So
what did he say?
Here's the story. So he was preparing for his industry room show, right? So he had to run his 5, right? And he was like, he looked around the room, and everybody in the room was like someone who's seen. We've all seen it.
Yeah.
We've all seen it,
yeah.
right? So like, he's like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to work my 5 in front of, like the jokes. People know all these jokes, right? Like, I'm not gonna get honest feedback. And I was like, I asked him about that, something about like, yeah, like that's one of the hard things about like comedy is like you have to do your same shit over and over again, like even when it's not interesting or fun. And he was like, but that's where the performance element comes in. You learn how to sell it. I found that people will laugh at the same joke over and over, but only if you are like convincing them that this is still worth listening to. Right.
You have to be like, guys, you can always set it up differently too. You
can always, but what you first said about
you can always tie it to something different.
Right.
Yeah.
But the salesmanship of it and that's challenging. I mean, that's challenging if it's not sincere. That's acting.
Yeah.
That's conjuring an emotion and like feeding it into that space, and like that's something I at this point am like just so uncomfortable doing.
Saying the same jokes.
Well, no, I've gotten better at that, or like trying to, if I feel like I want to do that, if I want to like do the thing, like if I want to feel like I want to tell jokes that work, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. But also I think there's some value to like going up on stage and just exploring the space. I'm not ready to give that up completely yet. I don't want to get too tight. Like I feel like that's the downside of the New York style. Versus
become a robot,
right? Versus the Louisiana style or even California, like you can be a little bit looser in those places because there's looser cultures.
There's a lot of New York comedians where people are like, "Oh, he's the greatest," but I can't watch an hour special. I can't watch an hour of David Tell.
No, and his special was like 25 minutes.
I couldn't watch the whole thing.
It was like, too tough.
It's just joke after joke after joke, and I'm like, I want to know what David Tell's morning was like. Right,
he doesn't. Yeah.
You know, I want to know what Sam Morrill. I just want to know about something, that you have that isn't clearly.
You want it, but you see, like open mic comics who rock in the city, and they come to Brooklyn. Their style is literally short ass jokes, like, like what's his name? Christian Morandi. What's his name? Christian Morani. He plays the tuba, or the trombone.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, when I moved to New York, I was doing mics with him, and then him and I kind of went in separate worlds. But he, like, a few years later, his jokes were all just, like, quick, like, set up punch, and, like, I'm like, oh, you're doing this shit in Manhattan.
Yeah. I feel, do you think Brooklyn and Manhattan comedy is that different?
I don't know. I think it's probably more similar than different.
Yeah. I do know what you mean. I feel like in Manhattan there's more pressure on the comedy for some reason. It feels higher stakes, even though it's not.
It does feel higher stakes.
But it's not higher stakes. But it feels
higher stakes.
It's all still stupid, like it's not.
It's all stupid.
Yeah.
I think it's more incel-y and violent in Manhattan.
It is more. It's way more incel-y in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Brooklyn feels more like you can just be a regular person just enjoying doing comedy and
Right.
You could be it's just a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. I know. It
But
gets super
I don't
chill.
know. Manhattan is like, it is more incelly. That's a great way to put it. It is. There's a dark,
It's so dark.
male energy
It's dark
to
male
Manhattan
energy.
comedy.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna kill each other.
We're gonna murder.
It's murder. And I don't.
And like
no one laughs. You go to the mics, they all sit. No one fucking laughs.
Except for when someone says something really fucked up.
Right, you have to say the most awful shit, and I'm like, at what point is this productive? Like,
It's not, because it would never work in front of an audience.
No, you have to say the dark. What I found with the Manhattan mic, like, I went to a Manhattan mic the other day just to mix it up, and there were 4 dudes in the room. I was like, I'm not gonna.
Was it the Shop or the Grizzly Pear?
It was Sesh.
Sesh. You went to Sesh.
I went to Sesh.
Dude, I go to Sesh.
I know you told me about it.
Yeah.
I went for the first time. There were 4 dudes in the room, and I was like, I'm not gonna like just say a punchline that's gonna bomb. Like, no one's done laughing at punchlines. Like, I'm just gonna talk, and then then the audience is interested. But then you're just performing. Then you're working on your performing.
Yeah. To me, though, when I see 4 guys in the audience, I go, no, everyone's gonna bomb here, so I might as well just do whatever I want.
Right. Feel the pain.
And don't care. I don't care as much. That's helped me a lot in Manhattan specifically. Yeah. I still do. Like, I go to the Grizzly Pear on Thursdays. I'll probably go tomorrow.
At what time?
I just go to 4:30, 6, just one after the other. Sometimes I do this comedy shop at 4.
You'll do one day and Thursday. And
I just go like, this is like just gonna get some reps. Truly just gonna get some reps because it's very easy.
Right, it's easy.
You do 4 o'clock, 4:36, and then you leave. You flee the village.
So you go on Thursday, do 4:30 Grizzly Pear.
And maybe then the 6 o'clock mic right after.
Or you'll do like a 4 o'clock comedy shop, 4:30 Grizzly Pear, 6 o'clock comedy shop.
Yeah. And I don't let anything bother me there. I have like total contempt for those places. That helps me. That's like a thing that I'm like,
I hate this.
Before, I used to be depressed going there.
Yeah, how'd you beat that?
By just being like, no, this place is undeserving of any kind of reverence. Because the only place that's deserving of any kind of reverence is a place like, I don't know, like The Cellar or something, where it's like they truly have great comedians.
Right.
And they're actually putting on really good shows.
Right.
But a place like the Shop and the Pear, they're just like wannabe comedy sellers.
Fake.
You know, they're just
fake.
Yeah, like they create a sort of a fake prestige for themselves.
Yeah,
but then you look at their lineups, you're like, this is horrible.
Yeah,
they're just stealing money from tourists.
That's all it is.
So when I go into those places, I don't take it seriously at all. I go, this is a sham.
You blew my mind. You really helped me.
Are you serious?
That was really helpful. Cause like I'll like charge those places and then get so dejected and leave. Like I'll go through phases of life where I'm going there and doing it, and like it's like just bombing in front. And I'm just like, fuck this bombing. Like I just hate the bombing. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, those places are just everyone bombs. What are we doing here? Yeah. Why is it everyone is bombing and like you're hearing bullshit incel comedy?
Yeah.
But it's just so easy to get up. And like it's kind of good. Like there was a part of my life and my comedy journey, and like I don't think I'm even ready to retire from this. But like there was a part of my comedy journey was like I'm doing that as training. Mm-hmm. So I feel the pain so I can like perform in front of anybody. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, what is this useful?
Yeah.
Am I getting too soft, Elliot?
I don't know. I go there because I want to know Manhattan comedians. Because there are good ones.
Right.
And ultimately, I want to do comedy in Manhattan.
Right.
That's the goal, ultimately.
Right.
So I feel like I do have to have a presence.
Right.
I have to be there. I have to get to know the people who are there.
Right.
And but the mics can go fuck themselves. Like, I'll be at the mics and I'm going to work my shit. But it's only to show people I'm here, I'm doing comedy.
Wow.
And I found that I don't bomb as much as I used to because I don't take them seriously.
Right, you don't give a fuck.
Like if I see everyone's bombing at a mic, everyone's bombing horribly, I go, oh, this is great. Because they are going up, they give up on themselves immediately, they shit on the room, they do some joke, they're like, oh, they're commenting on their own set the entire time. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to say what I'm going to say, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think people could feel that energy of like, oh, this guy's just.
This doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you have to give zero. Yeah.
I'm just like, these are the bits.
Wow. But I also kind of like the open mic comedy in Brooklyn better. I think there's better writing.
It is better. It's much more fun.
It's much more fun, and the writing is so dope. Like, right? I mean, you become a better writer in Brooklyn. Like, because you go and you're just like...
I don't know. Is it people being better writers or people just having more fun? It's hard to say.
I feel like we're around some, like, good old timers or, like, people...
I do agree with
like,
that.
We're old timers by meaning, like, we're around people who've done comedy for 10 years. Who are, like, really sick. And, like, they're just, like, waiting for their moment to get out. Like, but they're really dope.
Yeah.
Like, they're really, like...
There's great comedians in Brooklyn that people in Manhattan don't know about.
Like, Billy Princell.
Yeah.
Billy Princell.
He's so good.
He's great.
He's my favorite.
He's my favorite, too.
I'm obsessed with his comedy.
Me
like,
too.
Every time I go to Halyards and he's there, I'm like...
Thank God. Thank God we get to see a pro.
Exactly.
We get to see a pro do it. I started a comedy show too, and on my second show I booked him.
Yeah.
And
was that Young Ethel's?
It's at Young Ethel's, yeah. And the third one's coming up 6/29. I saw you have a show at 6/27.
Yes.
Sick.
Week of shows. The big shows.
The big shows. But I had never seen him do 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me neither.
I've never seen
him.
I've always seen him like work out things, right? Like, and me and him, like, I saw him eating at the Mighty Quinn barbecue stop once, and I was like, "Can I eat with you?" And he was like, "Sure." So we had like dinner together. That was it. Like, but it was cool talking to him. But like I watched him do 13 minutes, and it was like the lineup was tight. Like, starting out was Jared G. Yeah. He did his damn thing, you know. Like, then I had Alana Rubin up. She did well. Yeah. She did her damn thing, and it was like but those two were like the perfect setup for Billy to come and just clobber. Like, Billy, he does a thing great comedians do where he puts you in his vortex. Like, you get in his vortex.
It's like a tractor beam.
Yeah, it's a tractor beam.
Everyone is drawn to Billy.
But
he's got the presence.
So it's not just that, though. Okay, you're in the vortex, but then you're in his rhythm. So it's two things. Like, you have the vortex where he's like, you're in his world, and then he's just pumping you with his rhythm for like 13 minutes. Just like, you're in his cadence, you're in his flow, and you're in his world where he's like, he's doing observational comedy on dating and like gender roles and celebrities and people, his own experience like in college and beauty and like dating, and it's just like, it's fucking phenomenal. And you're just like, holy shit. So when you get to see that guy at an open mic, like, working his shit out, he's been doing this for over 10 years. Like,
he's the best. He's
the best. And like, guys like Michael Miller, who's great. Yeah. He's been doing it for over 10 years, like, or is getting there. It's like Matt Summerstein.
He definitely started like 10 years ago.
Yeah, Matt Summerstein has been getting up on 10 years. Like, like Jake West Comedy, 10 years.
Jake West Comedy.com.
Cyrus, 10
always
years.
Been one of my
We're
favorites.
around guys who've been doing it for 10 years. Yeah. Like, I haven't been doing it for close to 10 years. Like, so it's like, to just be around people who are like, oh, this is what 10 years looks like. Yeah. Keep going.
Makes a difference.
Makes a huge difference.
There's, many people. I feel like in Manhattan comedy, you know, it'll be like someone who carries themselves like they've been doing it for 10 years. You talk to them, they're like, I started this a year ago, and you're like, what's with the ego?
What's with the ego?
What's with where do you get the nerve to like walk around like I should fucking give a fuck about who you are?
I know.
You've been doing it for a year. It's like you can move quicker through the Manhattan scene, but it's sadder.
It's so dark and sad.
It's so dark and sad.
It's not hippie. Like, there's a hippie element to Brooklyn. Yeah. Like, Brooklyn's like a very hippie place.
No, it's like corporate comedy.
Right, it's corporate comedy. It's dark and brutal.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch on this. You're a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of law do you practice?
I do. I'm a civil litigator. Okay. So I'll do personal injury, employment, breach of contract, real property disputes, and that's like, I'll do that if a client needs help. I'll do that, and I also am I also, because I work for myself, also write legal briefs for other attorneys as an independent contractor. So you need to make arguments to the court throughout the lifespan of a case, and an attorney won't want to do it. They're busy, whatever. They call me up, and I'll write for them.
You just work for yourself.
I work for
you
myself.
don't work for a firm or anything.
No.
Okay, I was like wondering what the legal environment is like for you, like in New York. Like how's that? You know.
Well, so hopefully I'm getting my New York bar license.
Is that your full-time job? Is that what's supporting you most of the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some weeks when I sell enough paintings, that's amazing. That's
Yes.
an amazing feeling. That
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I like made my week's nut. Like,
Yes.
2 paintings, but that's like not normal.
I know
Most of
that
the time-
exact feeling. I do the same with acting. I'll get like 1 gig. You get a gig. I'll get a gig like once, maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
But the gig will pay me like like $1,000 for the day. I'm like, I'm an actor, baby. You know?
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. As soon as you when it changes. It changes that shit, right? Don't you feel like once you got paid for it, didn't it kind of change for you? You like you feel different about it. Like,
My confidence was just.
your confidence goes up.
Yeah, I was like, people paid me to do this. The people hadn't paid me to do it for 5 or 6 years before I got paid to do it one time, and then I'm like,
You got paid to do it.
yeah.
It's like the greatest feeling.
Yes.
It makes you feel validated.
How many paintings do you sell on it? Like, how does the painting? What's the economy of the David paintings? Like, how many paintings are you painting? How many are for sale? Like, how many are you selling?
Well, they're all for sale.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
They're all for sale. How many am I?
Do you have like a big collection from the course of a long?
Well, they kind of sell. They kind of sell.
Okay.
They kind of sell, but I do have a big collection. I have a lot of paintings, but I don't have a lot of it. A lot of them sell, but I do have a lot of paintings. But they kind of like sell, like you don't really see that shit coming. Like it just you get hit with or like.
You have a website? You just all through Instagram?
Instagram. I have a website, but like I guess last month I had 2 commissions and I sold 3 paintings. That was 5 paintings.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Like when I used to live in my old apartment, I used to sit out on my street on Saturdays and line up my small paintings on the street and like hawk paintings, and some days I'd sell, other days I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, painting just like kind of happened to me. Like it was like.
When did you start doing that?
About 5 years ago, but I got really serious in the pandemic. I was by myself.
Yeah.
And so I started painting, and then my paintings. Before that, my paintings sold. I sold paintings before the pandemic, but I didn't like think anything of it. People were always like my shit, but I didn't think anything of it. And in the pandemic, my shit started selling, and then it's just been selling. And then it's like, oh, I'm a painter. I was like, okay, I'll just
Newsflash.
I'll just news. So it's funny because you're like, oh, you're a painter. Like I'm like, man, I really didn't know myself.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
People think of you as a painter.
People think of me as a painter, and people really like the paintings.
How often do you paint? Like, how often do? I mean, besides a commission, like excluding commissions.
I try to go every day, or if I don't do it, I didn't go to the art studio today, but I made a drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I try to write and paint every day. Try to write and paint.
Do you have where's the studio, like Navy Pier or something?
Yeah, Brooklyn Navy.
I think you told me that.
And there's
Brooklyn
other
Navy.
artists, and that's like the type. It's like comedians I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love comedians. Love them. But it's a prickly bunch. Like, it's like a severely damaged bunch.
Yes.
And like the artists and like painters and stuff, like it's just cool to be around them because like obviously they're like sensitive and in pain.
The enthusiasm, though.
Yeah, there's love there.
Yeah, when you do other things, you realize people have enthusiasm for things. You're like, oh, it's so nice.
Whoa.
People be around people who are just like, this is exciting what we're doing. Yes, it is. It is exciting. We're sure of it. We're in stand-up. Stand-up, it's total cynicism. It's like...
It's negative.
Yeah.
And the artists, like, there's like, at least with painters, it's very much like, I've experienced this recently with painters where it's like, painters are like get really excited about other painters' work.
Yeah.
And like, I want to paint like that, like, and like, oh, that's so cool, and like, oh, I love it, like, they're like really into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like comedians, it's very like competitive. It's like, it's weirdly competitive, like, even though it shouldn't be. But
no one can care.
No one can care.
Everyone's pretending like they don't care. Everyone's trying to be cool. Everyone has to be so cool.
In comedy?
Yeah.
But it's like the group of people who were like
the least cool people. Yeah.
Like bully, but that's why there's defensive. Like being cool is like about being open and warm and shit. Like
Yeah. I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like they aren't cool.
They aren't cool.
But that's what makes it not fun to be around comedians a lot. Is the whole if you're around a bunch of comedians and they're trying to be the cool ones. Or like they have a little clique and they don't want to talk to you because you're not part of the clique. Or like they think they're on some higher level shit than you, so you can't be in on what they're talking about because we're talking shop. All right, I'm a waiter at the Comedy Cellar.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah.
But they like it's weird because it's like it's very much the same thing. Like painter, like you love other painters' work, but it's like I could never paint like you, and you could never paint like me.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. It's like I love what Cyrus does.
Mm-hmm.
I could never do what Cyrus does.
No.
And I'm not in a million years. Like it's not even. I couldn't even learn to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
It'd
or
be
like
crazy.
He's his own wild shit. Like, but he has his own voice, his own style, or like Billy, or you, or any comedian. Like you could. It's very similar. You could only do your voice. Like, and so the fact that we're not like. They're not like loving each other. I think it's just the nature of. I don't know. I really like painters. But comedy's so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
It's so like acting.
It's very exciting.
I'm sure you like acting too, but you're like at the end of the day, it's not as fun as comedy.
No, it's much more work for me, and it's also comedians are more fun than actors. I would put actors below comedians in the likability aspect. I mean, there's less of a darkness to actors, but more self-centeredness and more shallowness. Like, you don't have to have any kind of intellectual power to create. I feel like you can be in the acting industry and be just a dumb person.
Right.
Like a totally dumb person.
Sure.
I mean, there's great artists, actors, for sure. But, like, I feel like comedians, there's some level of, like, you have to put some thought into this.
You have to be.
But there's a lot of actors who are just like dead behind the eyes, like just they just want to be in front of the camera. They just want you to be paying attention. Yeah, and I cannot speak to you if that's your whole.
You think there's a lot of comedians who? I think there's comedians who are artists and then comedians who aren't artists.
Yeah.
And it's like I like the ones that are artists about it. Like I don't know why. There's some people who do comedy where I don't get it.
Yeah, you don't know why they're doing it.
Like, I get it, but, like, I don't know.
Like, you don't even have fun. You're not even fun.
Right.
I don't understand that at all. To me, it's like some people are doing comedy where you're not a fun person at all.
No.
Like, I could tell if I met you outside of this setting, you would be
a drag.
It would be a drag.
I don't get it. I guess I get how healing it is. Like, it's such a healing. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
But there's some people who I, like, really, like, for me, Billy's an artist.
Yeah.
Like, what he's doing is, like...
For sure.
He's doing art. Like, he's like, it's comedy, but it's art. And then some people who are just doing, like, comedy, I'm like...
It's like they've just... Yeah.
It's like, it's like they're just trying... It's almost like trying to be funny.
No, it's like a total craft to where you can... They look at it like they just have to put these elements together to make it work. And I guess some people can do that.
Some people can, some people can't.
I never enjoy that. I like fun guy comedy.
Yeah, fun guy. Well, because you're a fun guy.
Yeah. I'm a fun guy comedy.
I like a point of view.
I want a point of view, but I want you to be a fun guy.
Yeah.
I want a fun guy who's got a great point of view.
Right.
That's my favorite shit ever, is like, just a guy who's like, this guy should not, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like
a fun guy with a great point of view.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a happy character. Like, I feel like comedy, there's like, you gotta get your your darkness. Like it's like
No, I love a dark guy, but I don't know. But I like someone who's fun with their darkness.
Right, who's silly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's like Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Who's like who's kind of the master at comedy.
For sure.
Probably. Would you say Louis C.K. is the greatest stand-up comedian to ever live up until this point? Like, obviously, comedy's dated, so it's like
He's for sure one of them.
yeah.
I mean, I'd put him in the top 10 for sure.
Of his time.
Yeah.
Of his time.
Oh, his comedy and his heyday pre-cancellation is untouchable.
It's untouchable.
You know,
but even the one he got canceled when he said sincerely
the
is
great.
my favorite one of all time.
That's a great one.
When he talks about the gift shop, he's like, "You made this instead of killing yourself."
No, here's the thing about Louis. He's the reason I wanted to get into comedy.
Yeah.
He's like, I got into comedy basically because Netflix, really. I mean, I always loved it, but it was only on Comedy Central. You never knew how to catch it.
Yeah.
But once I got Netflix and they had all of his specials and like,
yeah,
you know, like Tom Segura and they had Patrice O'Neal's special. But mostly Louis. I'd watch all his specials. They had all of them.
Yeah.
Beacon Theater and Live at the Comedy Store and Hilarious and whatever. And Bill Burr was on it. They had all Bill Burr's early specials. But then I've realized over time, like I've been trying to find the new Louis. I've like compared every special since watching Louis, and I'm like, man, comedy's just not as good as I remembered it. Then I realized at one point, I'm like, no, no one's as good as Louis is.
No, he's so much.
No one's
better.
putting the amount of nuance into their comedy that he is, or the level of writing is just not even close.
Right,
for most people.
He's an artist. I mean, he has that artistic element. Like his films are beautiful. Like his photography. Like he does comedy, but it's like very. It's nuanced, but it's like a very.
Very carefully cultivated.
Yeah, he's just like a one-man show type thing. Like he's not.
You can't replace what he does. This is why, for years I'm just like, maybe, I'm like, is there just no good comedians? I don't know.
I mean, I think comedy's really hard, but when it's done like at the master level, it's like the greatest thing ever.
For sure.
I saw him at Madison Square Garden, and he said like he opened up his set, but being like, I know it's like really hard for a lot of you guys to be my fans. Like I know that you've had to lie to some of you had to lie to people about where you were coming tonight, and I'm grateful. And it was just like everyone loved that shit. Like
that's so true. If I went to see Louis, I saw him at the Cellar the other night.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it awesome?
It was awesome.
Did you mean to see him, or were you just?
Someone invited me. They told me that Louis might be there.
Whoa! Oh, so you're in. You got in.
Well,
you're in with the like little Manhattan
boy.
You're a little Manhattan.
But
you got in.
It was like Sam Morril, Chris DiStefano, this lady Emily Blotnick, who was really funny, and then it was Louis C.K. It was Shane Gillis, then Louis C.K., and then Kumail Nanjiani. What's his name? Yeah. Some guy from Silicon Valley. It was a crazy show.
Yeah.
$14. It was like.
You went to the Comedy Cellar? $14.
Yeah.
What time?
It's cheap. It's Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday. I think it was a Monday show. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is $14.
You just buy it online?
No, my friend had gotten tickets.
Oh, okay.
Had reserved tickets, and we just Venmo'd him.
Oh, I gotta start going.
It's so, it's really cheap. Compared to other comedy experiences, compared to most Manhattan experiences, and you can just buy 2 bottles of water. You can get out of there, spend $28, and you can see the great comedy.
You can see the good why we're all doing it.
Exactly.
To get to that.
It was funny, but Louis was just trying stuff out. It was really interesting.
Really?
He did a lot of jokes, totally flopped, and then he'd be like, it sucks.
He was just like working it out.
Yeah, totally working out. Like there was some stuff he just said, and you're like, why would he have thought that was fun? Why would anyone think that? It was like an open mic. He was doing an open mic in front of like 200 people.
That's amazing.
But he would just say something, and then he'd be like, I thought there was something there. It's just like totally quiet.
That's insane.
That was fun.
Well, dude, you're really inspiring me to like kind of like get back into Manhattan.
Yeah, well, I don't know, just
to have like reestablish.
That's what keeps me sane.
Is going in Manhattan.
I'm always scheming on ways to be improving my comedy career or improving my comedy or.
Yeah. I like thinking about like scheming on ways to improve your comedy career.
Yeah, I just always try. I'm always trying stuff. Always trying stuff. Because I'm like, this is, I don't know.
Like how do I improve my comedy career?
How do I improve my standing in the New York scene is always on my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
You're always thinking about how to improve your standing in the New York scene.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, it's like, well, I have to, you know? It's like, to me, it's like I have to. Because I came here to do comedy.
Right.
I moved to the city to do comedy.
Well, I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. But it was like kind of during the pandemic, and it was like I was flowing, and like now it's like I'm flowing. I'm like still doing it, flowing around, but like I don't like I of course want to improve my standing. Hence, I started a show.
Yes.
Right. Like that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, and then like you're like, all right, I'm gonna do a monthly. Are you doing a monthly or is it
It's a monthly.
Yeah, I'll do a monthly show. Okay, I've done the monthly show, and it's like, all right, I'm going to like, I'm getting to know people. I'm going to the same mics. All right, I'll get booked on a show here and there. It's like okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, my thought is you see people in places all the time in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, they don't deserve to be there. Or like, I wish I was where they are.
Right.
So to me, it's like, I'm going to fucking try to get there because I fucking deserve to be there.
Right.
And they don't mean shit. Like, they suck.
Right.
That drives me every single day.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't get, like, I have no respect for
that bullshit.
The bullshit. Like, I don't let any of that bother me.
But I see the thing about that stuff for me is like I'm like you can like move around and like get up in those shitty ass tourist trap clubs. But,
yeah.
Like that doesn't mean shit.
No.
No one gives a fuck about.
No, it doesn't.
Clubs.
It doesn't matter at all.
No. I mean, I see like the comedians that come up through there and like they don't go anywhere.
This makes me happy though. This motivates me.
Yeah.
It almost motivates me that comedy is so seems almost pointless sometimes.
Well, you're like, where does it go?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get from, like, I mean, like, I guess, like, my goal in comedy is, like, I want to get spots at, like, Old Man Hustle in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know, like, I see the comics that go there, they do their thing, I'm like, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
You know, like...
Just have one place where you can regularly have a good crowd.
You have a good crowd, you go work your shit out, like, there, and then perform around the city... I mean, you gotta. I've kind of taken comfort. It's like, hey, when I moved here, I didn't have a show. I never got booked on a single show ever.
Mm-hmm.
And since moving here, I have a show. And I get booked on some shows.
Yeah.
Like
it is good.
It's a good.
It's only about improvement, though. That's really what I'm trying to say. I'm not really saying it very well, but to me, it's like I really just enjoy getting better at it because everything else is useless, pretty much, unless you're touring and making money.
Yeah.
And it's like your real job.
Yeah. But I think we've had this conversation off air before. By the way, I really like talking game with you. You're inspiring me.
Thanks.
I'm so Mr. Loosey Goosey flowy. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I dissociate out of I was talking about this with my therapist today. I dissociate out of everything.
Yeah.
I'm not intentional about a single fucking thing. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But I like the practice of things. So I do the things, but I like your intentionality that you just. I think it's really admirable.
It's all. Yeah.
You're getting involved.
That's what keeps me sane is planning.
Planning.
I like planning.
Fuck. Man.
Like this is the plan. We're gonna see if it works.
That's the plan.
And even if it doesn't work.
You went for it.
Something will get better because you tried to execute a plan.
Right.
Like the little thing we're making, the little short film.
Yeah.
Show thing.
Yeah.
My friend had an idea for a script. He's like, I want someone to help me write it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'll help you write it. We wrote it.
Who'd you cast in the part I auditioned for?
This guy named Ben Hedrick.
Nice.
Do you know him?
No. Is he a comedian?
He is a comedian.
He had a good audition.
He fit it perfectly.
My girlfriend was like, you should confront him about the web series, if it's happening or not. I was like, no, I'm not going to confront him. But you brought it up, so I was like, okay, I got to confront him. But I enjoyed that audition.
He just fit the part very well.
Much better than me.
Yeah. There was like 5 or 6 people who auditioned.
It's all right. I have no ill will, but yeah,
I thought I should have probably notified people that they didn't get it. I should have been like,
cool.
a thanks for auditioning.
Cool. You guys do what you gotta do.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, trying and well, that's what comedy is. You try and you fail, and then you're like, oh, you learn from that shit. Like that, the executing a plan is like, that's what's up.
Every plan you try to execute, you really try to execute.
Yeah.
You make progress.
Yeah.
So I'm all about the little progress. That's what keeps me going. It's a little progress.
You gotta make plans. You gotta make game plans.
I'm always scheming.
That's tight, dude.
That's
inspiring to me. That's inspiring.
I'm glad you think it's inspiring. Sometimes I feel like am I just too cynical? Am I just being a schemy bastard?
I don't know. I mean,
But you have to be.
I don't know so much. I mean, in art, I haven't had to be too schemy.
Yeah.
And there's been progress. It's working.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of like, you know, I mean, I don't think, like, for example, Michael Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Michael Miller is very schemy.
No.
But he's just great.
No, I talk to him all the time, and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I believe him 100%.
Right. He's just great.
Yeah.
And so that shit just like rises to the top, and like people book him on on their shows.
Yeah.
And he gets to perform on a lot of shows because he has the goods. Mm-hmm. Same thing with like Cyrus or Billy or Matt or like the guys who are good get booked.
Yeah.
You go to open mics, you're dope, you're gonna get booked.
Yeah.
Like if people like you, they'll book you. Like that's at the end of the day. You know, but then there's also guys who I know who are like they got the internships at Broadway Comedy Club, and it's like you have to be intentional and a little schemy to get those. You know, we're not schemy, but you have to be intentional. You have to know the people. Like you have to be political. Like and that job's sick because you gotta perform in front of tourists every night and like pack rooms. But I don't know. I see those guys, and then I see the guys we perform with. I'm like, they're not getting that much better.
No.
It actually might almost hinder them because
they're just doing the same set, same 6, 7 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of times the clubs you just get 5 minute spot, whatever.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just working for the club, they'll throw you 5 minutes, you know.
Yeah, you just go do the thing, and you want it to be good.
Yeah. To me, my philosophy, I guess, is I want to know the people.
Yeah.
But I want to be as good as possible for if I ever get a great opportunity. That's it.
So that's how you're balancing.
So when I'm on stage, I like to try. That's when I try to flow as much as possible. Try to like not let anything bother me and not be cynical, Elliot. But off stage,
you return to the comedian.
I'm a little schemy.
You're scheming
because I have sort of probably a complex where I feel like no one ever remembers who I am, or I'm easily overlooked.
Yeah.
And that's always driven me.
I love that. And
I just feel like I'm like you have to sort of stick your face in a lot of places over and over. Right. Just got to do it.
People got to see who you are.
Yes, yeah.
It's so true. What you're saying is so true.
Even people who suck, if you show up in the same place over and over and over,
people know you.
You're going to become familiar, and you're going to get something out of it.
Well, people know us at Halyards.
That's good. It feels good.
It feels good.
Yeah.
Right? People know us at
Freddy's. The Slope.
The Slope.
We're the Slope boys.
And that, I mean, my favorite comedy is in the Slope, unfortunately.
I love this. I love a Slope night.
It's the best comedy.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best fucking comedy. And then, like, yeah, you gotta stick your face in places. You gotta show up and be seen, and you gotta work it. I have to get better at what you're talking about, being more intentional, being more outgoing with it.
Yeah.
Like getting my face and getting back into Manhattan. It was fun doing the Flow State mic. It was fun. I know.
Usually those are like full. The mics are full. So you got to go back and do it.
Four people. But yeah, I think it's probably good to do like one Manhattan day a week.
Yeah. There's a few good rooms in Manhattan. I'm trying to think.
I like the 6:30 Tuesday at The one in the East Village, eastbound. Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Down and Out.
Down and
That's
Out.
a good one.
I like that one a lot.
Stella and Fly on Tuesdays, 8:30, Upper East Side. Good.
Oh, wow.
Good mic.
You go to the Upper East Side.
Yeah, this is part of the. I gotta go everywhere. I don't go a lot. It's hard. It's an hour, full hour.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Stella and Fly though, Tuesdays, Stand Uptown, great mic. Or the Stumble In on Mondays on the Upper East Side is also a great mic. The Stumble In.
Wow, you're going to the Upper East Side.
Sometimes I like going to the Upper East Side. It's an adventure for the night. You go, this is a whole different part of New York. It's crazy.
Oh man,
it's fun to be there.
You're really inspiring me.
Well, I don't.
How do you find out about these mics? Are they on
Instagram?
The list?
I'm always going through Instagram looking for mics and shows to follow.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I go, oh, this seems like it'd be cool to do, and I usually don't do it for a while, and then I remember like, oh, that's tonight. Maybe I'll do it tonight.
And you go hit that shit.
Yeah. Stumble In Monday, Stella and Fly Tuesday.
Could I start texting you and be like, hey, you got a good rec for a mic tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you be...
For sure.
Would that not
I'll
bother
give you a mic. No, not at all.
Okay, because I might...
Trying to think what else is a good Manhattan mic.
I heard the Music Inn is good on Thursdays.
Is that a mic? They have a mic?
It's a mixed mic, yeah. The Music
Oh,
Inn. But I haven't done it.
I know someone who has a show at the Music Inn, but I didn't know. I'll have to check that out.
So you go into the city once a week, twice a week?
So you go Monday. I usually don't do fun mic at Freddy's because I miss the sign up. I always just forget.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a mic on Monday and then go to Halyards at 9 or Young Ethel's at 10.
Yeah.
Tuesday I'll usually do a sesh mic.
Yeah.
And I do Branded Saloon.
Yeah.
But I skip Branded Saloon a lot.
Yeah, I skipped it this week.
Wednesday. I don't really know if I have a Wednesday thing. Thursday definitely I always go in the city. Friday I usually do 4 o'clock mic at New York Comedy Club on 24th Street. It's a really good mic.
Really?
But it's a bucket. It's in Gramercy. It's their other location.
Yeah.
It's 4 o'clock. You get there like 3:30. You put your name in the bucket.
Yeah.
But they advertise it. They sell it like a show.
Yeah.
But they have 13 spots. And so like right before the show, he pulls 13 names. And you pay $5 if he pulls your name.
Whoa.
But they always have an audience. And he's the guy who runs it runs a fun mic.
Whoa.
So that's my favorite thing to do Friday is do that 4 o'clock New York Comedy Club mic.
Yeah.
Then go to Halyards. But if I can't do 4 o'clock Comedy Club mic, I go do a sad mic at the shop. Because I know what's happening.
Right.
And then I go to Halyards.
So you're really being a Manhattan comic.
Yeah. That's
You're
the
really
goal.
doing it.
Brooklyn is like my sanctuary.
Yeah.
That's it. Halyards is like my sanctuary.
Oh,
I'm like, this is where I relax.
And have fun.
Yes. And that is the same with Freddy's. When I go... Like, I don't think I'm going to go to it's too late to go to Freddy's tonight, but like Wednesday night, I'm like, oh, it's Mike's hosting at Freddy's. I love Mike. I love being at Freddy's.
Dude, I want to fucking be a pro.
I know. You can be.
You can be.
You just got to pretend for long enough, I think.
You got to go kick it.
You got to really really ride the wave.
Ride the wave.
Yeah, ride through the storm.
It's so stormy. Well, no, I mean, but you have acting. And I have painting.
Yeah.
And like, it's just kind of like, there are...
Acting's bad, because if you don't have an audition, though, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You can do a class. Classes
are good.
Classes are a lot. Acting classes are a lot, dude. They want you to be so vulnerable. It's hard.
I know, it makes you a better actor.
Yeah.
It makes you and probably a better comedian.
It does.
Painting's hard because you have to... Painting's like comedy, painting's an insane act of faith because you have to buy the material. Like,
yeah,
you're putting money down.
Yeah,
and you're like, I gotta make this back. Hopefully,
yeah.
Like, hopefully I can make it back.
To me, when I think of painting, to me it would be too much work for me. It would feel like work for me.
Painting's the best, most fun thing you can do.
Maybe I should do it more.
Oh, painting's the shit, dude. Painting's the best. Like if I had like unlimited resources, like unlimited money, like I would just paint.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
No. To me, I think that would be writing.
Yeah.
I like writing bullshit. I like just sitting at a computer. I like sitting on Microsoft Word,
Oh, you type it?
making a dumbass story. It's my
Yeah.
favorite thing. Can't do it. There's no time. There's no time. There's no reason. There's no money in it. But if I was independently wealthy, I would sit at my
Write
computer.
yourself a novel.
I'd go sit in a park, and then I'd go do a show at night. In my ideal world,
That's your idea. Well, that's the life. Like,
I would
guess-
just hike.
Oh, hiking's amazing.
I fucking lie. It's my favorite.
My ideal life. Let's talk about our ideal life.
Let's do it.
What time is it, by the way?
We have enough time. We can end it anytime.
Okay.
We're done. But like, let's do this, and then we'll say
Yeah,
that's
we'll
it.
talk about our ideal life.
Let's talk about our ideal life, and then we'll call it a day.
My ideal life is like, I guess my ideal life is that I'm like slanging paintings and performing comedy in New York comedy clubs and like develop an audience for both things where it can be like my primary profession just to be an artist. You
Yeah.
know, like a comedian and a painter and like just be a New York artist, like slang paintings, perform comedy, have a podcast, whatever, like collaborate with other artists. That's my ideal life.
Yeah,
What's your ideal life?
it's probably essentially the same thing. It would be
Yeah.
like, my day would just be,
Write and do comedy.
write,
Yeah.
meet with people about writing, plan productions.
Yeah.
I think probably if I like the idea a little bit of being a touring comic, you know?
Yeah.
You live in New York, you work on your shit at night,
Yeah.
you occupy yourself during the day, which I am happy to do.
Yeah.
I love the daytime.
Yeah.
I get sad at night.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's probably why I go out, is because
It's boring. Being at home at night is terrible.
but maybe I'd like to just write a show, like have my own show, work on a show.
The Elliot Hamilton show.
I'd like a show, yeah. Like what I'm doing now, I would love for our like little pilot to get picked up, and we'd do that for 8 years. We'd have 8 seasons and then be canceled, and then I'd have a little resume or something.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's a good
I
life.
love that we've been planning our little production. I've enjoyed it so much.
The planning.
The planning, I could occupy myself with planning a production and writing a story to support it. Like we have the story we have together, and
Yeah.
we know the world now between us, and so it's easy for us now with us together to create more story.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I could see how you could just get caught up in doing this for, be like the South Park guys, and they're on fucking season 30. They're like, what else are we gonna do?
Right, there's nothing that you gotta work.
There's nothing else to do.
There's nothing else to do. You gotta do something all day. That's
Never
fucking
never
sick.
retire.
Never.
Never.
Never. Dude, that's
I've actually
fun.
felt very strongly, but yeah, never ever retire.
No, you're gonna kill me doing it.
Yeah.
It would be sick though to like, to go pro. I always remind myself that like what I'm experiencing now is all a part of the journey, and there's no way to like, just like how I didn't really see the paintings coming, I won't see many other aspects of my life coming. It's just
Yeah. It'll just happen.
it'll just happen. But you gotta like, it's a part of the journey, and it's like rough as hell. It's rough as hell. You're like,
Sometimes you're like, I can't see any way that this is fun.
yeah,
or good.
How is like even when you have like good sets or good nights or whatever, and you're like,